Welcome to our channel. I'm Sherry and
I'm Libby.
welcome.
Welcome, guys.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back with another one. What are we back with, Libby?
So today we're back with a discussion on topics, points you should know before deciding to come to England.
That's it.
Yes.
So we are going to let you into those details that you would not find on YouTube, that no one is telling you about before you come to the UK. Very important points, things you need to know before you pick up yourself and make drastic life decisions to come to the UK.
She's so extra.
Why I have to emphasize.
Yes.
So let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. All right. I will start with this point. All right. So one of the things that a lot of immigrants, nurses, teachers who come to England on a skilled worker visa, they did not know this. And I have colleagues from Jamaica that came to England, and when they want to bring their dependents, children to be exact, they found out this devastating news. So our route to come to England as a nurse or as a teacher is a skilled worker visa. It was once called Tier 2 visa. They've changed it now to skilled worker visas. On this visa, coming to England, if you have children, you know, whether you're a mom, a dad, you have children, but you're not together with the other parent, you're no longer together, that can be an issue. So, for example, I had a friend in Jamaica, we worked together in the hospital. She came to England and then she had a daughter. When it was time for her to bring her child to England, now she's being told, oh, if you're not together with her dad, you either have to have sole custody of the child or maybe the father is dead and you can prove this. So if you're not coming together as a family unit, husband and wife, coming with the child, then it's going to be an issue to get your child into the UK. So it's important that you know this. The recruiters, they don't tell you this. And colleagues were devastated because now you have to make a decision now. Are you going to leave your child? You know, in her case, it was a child, your young daughter, your young child under 14 years old. Are you going to leave her in Jamaica with family, or are you going to return home to take care of your child? So recruiters don't tell you this. The hospitals don't tell you this, or wherever you choose to work. They don't tell you that if you're a single parent, but you're not with the child's other parent and you're coming alone, expecting to bring your child alone, it's gonna be an issue because you have to have sole custody if that's the case, that you're not coming with the other parent. And I mean, which parent who is alive would want to give up custody of their child? Yeah. You would not want to do that. So it is something to consider before coming into England on a skilled worker visa.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why these recruiters won't tell you is because they're desperate. They really want you to come, so they're not going to let you in on those important details that could impact your life and stuff. So they're not going to tell you. Another point is, as it relates to child and childcare, it is very expensive in England. Mm-hmm. It is very, very expensive. It's very hard to find somebody to stay with your child. Yes. It is very hard and even sometimes you have friends. Your friends are might be very busy. Life in England is not the
easiest.
It's not the easiest.
No.
So everyone come, they have their life. They and unless you have the support of a husband or a spouse, family members, then it's quite difficult. Mm-hmm. And cost of living is quite high. Yes. So to even find somewhere to put your child, mm-hmm. and then it depends on the type of job you do, because for us, we're nurses, we work 12 hours a shift a day, sometimes 12 and a half hours, so you really need that support. So it's quite expensive.
Childcare is really a sore point for immigrants in England. Especially even if you come as a family unit, husband and wife, it is still quite difficult because you two have your jobs, and especially when you're on a skilled worker visa, you don't have the liberty of calling in sick. They look at you sideways, and your job is now under threat, because now you have to call in and to say you don't have childcare. Because in England they say childminder, we would say nanny, or whatever, but they say childminders here. And I mean, your childminder can call in and say she's sick.
Yeah.
1 week, and then you don't have childcare. And if your child is very young as well, you may not want to put them into the daycare system very early, because sickness and all that, and it's quite difficult. So it is something to consider when coming to England with children. Will I have enough support? Will I be able to get the childcare I need for my children? And another point that goes along with this point is the fact that you don't have access to any public funds on this route.
Well, before you go on to the public funds, as Livy was saying about, if your childminder is not available, let's say the person gets sick and can't stay with your child, remember that you're on a work visa. So if you're missing at work for periods at a time, you can stand the chance of losing your job. And you have to go back to Jamaica or whichever country you come from. So just bear that in mind. You have to set up some sort of something to help to get your child into somewhere where your child can be comfortable, where you can come pick up your child afterwards, and yeah. Any other points before I to Sherry? No, I just wanted to say that. Okay. Yeah, so we're mentioning public funds, So on this visa, you haven't got any access to public funds. You can't get any assistance from the government, and so you're just really much left on your own, and it's difficult, and childcare is expensive, and it takes a lot from your salary, and as we said, unexpected things happen, and and it can be rough. So it's something to consider, just to make sure that you make informed decisions. That's what we're trying to do here, just to present the facts so you can make informed decisions, like we would have wished that we had when we were coming. We were blindsided, and many others that came before us. So we just want to present the facts so my colleagues can make informed decisions. So as Livy is saying about the public funds, you don't get it until after 5 years. So your visa is highly restricted as it relates to that. So what public funds are is more like benefits that you get from government officials and so on. Unless you only can get it once you become a permanent resident or a citizen, or you're a naturalized citizen of the country, which that takes about 5 to 6 years before. So while you're here for the first 5 years of your life, you will receive a visa that says that you're not allowed to go on or get any public funds at all. So you just have to just work with it. So that's something that a lot of people don't tell you. So when you come, it's you have to go through until the 5 years, then you can be able to qualify for funding. Yes.
And just to continue, since Sherry has mentioned the ILR, or the settled status, which they call it ILR, I want to say that this is not free. Applying for it is not free, because I do have a sister in the faith that recently came to England with her family, and when I was telling her about the ILR and letting her know that, this is a process, and again, she was saying to me, you have to pay? I said, yes, it's not free. I wanted her to know that it cost £2,885
right now.
Yes,
the
price goes up. Yes,
every year,
almost every year.
But don't worry about it. We're telling you from now, before you come to the country, so you know what to prepare yourself for in 5 years. 5 years is a long time, but you never know what you might encounter while you're here. But just to let you know, because we didn't know. It was as we got in, we start to find out certain information. So now we're equipping you with this knowledge so that when you come here, you know what you're getting yourself into, basically. The next point is, facts. Is that it is much easier to come to the UK as a nurse. Being that we're nurses, so we can tell you it's much easier when it comes on to testing. So you do the CBT test in whatever country you're from, and then when you come to the UK, then you get to do the HOSCE. So major facts about that. So it's much easier to come here than to go to the US or Canada or any other country to do testing to get your nursing license.
That's a fact. Yes. So moving on from that, another point that is important to mention is about bills. So we have to inform you on the amount of bills that you pay in England, right? Because of course in everything we have to judge, pay ratio to bill ratio, and it's not adding up. So one of the bills that you pay in England that you don't pay anywhere else in the world is something called TV license. Yes. So essentially, I've got my TV that I've bought, and I've got to pay to watch it, to watch a live stream, anything on my TV. So in this country, you have to pay to watch your television.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're talking about like almost £200 a year just to stream things on my television. And if you don't pay it, these people have the right to come to your home and make a visit to see if you are streaming. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, they'll actually send you letters in the mail to say that you're under investigation. Yes. We're going to come at any time and show up, and we're going to send the officer to come and look to make sure, to look if you have a TV. And if you're streaming anything on that TV.
Yes.
So if they find that you're streaming anything on the TV and you had not declared that you don't need a TV license, then you can be fined up to £1,000.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, so that's one bill that you have to pay. And another bill is called the council tax. Yes. It has nothing to do. Look, once you're renting a property in England or you own a property, you must pay council tax. But guess what? The council tax doesn't have anything to do with the property you're renting or the property you own. So that's another bill that you have to get wrapped around your head, and you have to cough up the money and pay for it.
Yes. It's like you're paying. That bill is like you're just paying to exist.
Basically.
You're paying to live in the area. It comes at an additional cost. Because the things that council tax goes towards is most often times not anything that, they say like to collect your garbage.
Yeah.
There's just nothing free in England. It's just everything. It's always something.
There's something that you have to be paying cash for.
Yes.
Money.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And then another thing in England is, all over the world, cost of living is quite high. But in England, and it depends on where you live, because especially London is very expensive. It is very expensive. It's very expensive to get place to rent. Food is expensive, and as you know, to add to it, the bills. All these bills that you have to pay for, it's quite expensive living in London.
Which is expected, isn't it? It's like living in New York City.
Yeah.
It's the town. It's the city.
It's the city.
Yeah.
Fast life.
The fast lane. Living in the fast lane. So it comes at a cost. It does. Yeah. And then you've got your gas and electric bill. And this is a very cold country.
Yeah.
And it gets really cold, and it stays cold for a long time. So it's not like in the US. In the US, it gets warm after a time. Because I've been to the US in February. It's very bright and sunny. And in England, the coldest months are January and February most times. So you use a lot of heating. So your heater, your radiator is always on, and the bills are so high, and you're paying for gas. And then you have water bills and sewage sometimes. It depends on where you live. Then you've got Wi-Fi bill, because who doesn't use Wi-Fi? No one. And then bills, it's not only those kind of bills. Sometimes other things, like, for example, as nurses, you have to register with a professional body. So I now have to pay my RCN bill.
NMC bill too?
Yeah, and the nursing council is looking for your yearly fee as well, which is over £100. Yes. And I have to pay a monthly fee to maintain my professional body membership. So you see, it is just always about
money. The dough.
Yeah, and you're not even making.
You're not even making enough.
But we'll get into that.
We'll get into that in another
That's
video.
A whole other video. Yeah. We can go on and on all night, all day. That's another video. We won't even start that. It won't even start that. No.
That's a whole different video.
It is. We'll get into we're going to have a nursing video.
Yeah.
What it's like to really be a nurse in England. We'll do that video for you.
But this is just to get you on the way to England.
General
if
facts.
you still decide to come.
General facts.
But we're not trying to scare you or anything.
We're not.
If it is your passion to come, welcome.
We're not trying to deter anyone.
Yeah.
We just want to give you facts and help you to make informed decisions. As I've said before, these are things that we would have liked to know as well prior to coming, but nobody was forthcoming with this information.
Yeah.
So we want to do justice and put it out there for everyone to hear, so you can know what you're signing up for.
Exactly. Yeah. The next point is healthcare. So Libby can talk to you more about the surcharge. I wasn't charged. I think you were charged when you came, but after COVID, they eliminated that fee. But you can talk a little bit on that. But then I'll go into the healthcare with my experience.
So skilled workers coming into England, healthcare first of all is free in England. So this is one of the most positive things about the UK is that healthcare is free, and immigrants coming in order to access some form of healthcare, they charge you something called an IHS fee. It's an immigration health surcharge. So when I came into England in 2020, the fee was £400 per year. So most employers who sponsor your visa would have given you a 3-year visa to start. Most times that's the case. So you're going to pay upfront then £1,200. And this is what gives you access to the free healthcare as an immigrant. When after COVID, the overseas nurses worked so hard, myself included. We worked so hard and we contributed so much to the healthcare system. They said, all right, we're going to scrap IHS for nurses and doctors and dependents of healthcare workers. So that was a really good initiative and we appreciated it. So if you're coming as a nurse, you wouldn't pay IHS. But if you're coming as a teacher or any other professional under a skilled worker visa, you will be paying your IHS fee. Yeah, but the healthcare system is a positive. It depends on how you look at it. The healthcare system is under pressure at the moment. They are very, nurses. They need nurses badly. A lot of nurses left the register in COVID, after COVID, due to stress, sickness, anxiety, all things. So the register, they need nurses, and doctors as well. Yeah. So they're really under pressure, but they're trying their best. But honestly, healthcare is an expensive thing, especially you need surgeries, certain procedures, and to get that free, it's really a good thing. I myself have access to healthcare in England. I have done an emergency surgery, and it was good. And if you went to another country where healthcare is not that great,
well, it's not that it's not that great. It's just there's a cost that's attached to it. In the UK, there is healthcare is actually free. You can just walk into the hospital. If you need any emergency surgery, elective surgery, you can get it done free at absolutely no cost. But as we can compare it to the US, and we all know that US, they charge a fee. It's not just a fee. They charge an arm and a leg.
You have to pay for
you have to pay. It's not that their healthcare isn't great, but it's just the money that most people don't have to pay.
In some countries like where we're from, it's not great.
Well, Jamaica, I've had good experience in Jamaica, me personally, with surgeries and stuff. And I don't really have any complaint about Jamaica, to be honest.
Yeah, but because it's a third world country, you don't have a lot of technology like these countries. Just
the technology, but we have, you see, the good ed and the education
that's
in Jamaica.
What we don't lack.
That's something, and I've never had a bad experience in Jamaica per se when it comes on to me getting, let's say I want to get a full check done. Though I have to pay, but I do get a thorough check from my doctor. Any doctor I go to, if I go to this hospital, anything that needs to be done, you might be on a waiting list and everything, but in time, once they get to you, they get to you. But as we can say, for UK, it is absolutely free. You walk in and they deal with you right there and then. Yeah, but I've had other experience outside of that, because when it comes on to in the UK, when when you're we're from Jamaica, so you have your own doctor, or you can just go to any doctor office and just go in and they just write you up and the doctor sees you. It's not like it here. Wherever you live, which area you move to, you have to register with a GP surgery where you live, because no other GP surgery will just take you on if you're not living in the area. It's based on your postcode and everything. So it can be quite difficult sometimes to get seen by the GP. Sometimes the GP will say to you, we're going to call you in a few months, and then we're going to call you at all.
It's a struggle over here.
It can be very hard to get to see your GP itself. So sometimes you have to take matters in your hand and just go to the emergency department. And sometimes when you go to the emergency department, they say, boy, you have to go to your GP. We can't do anything for you. So that's how UK is, and that's reality of UK.
Reality.
That is the reality. You have to go online, make an appointment. And another thing in the GP surgery, but which I've experienced, is like when you go there and you're relying on the expertise and the professionalism of the doctor or whoever it is that you're seeing, and they're asking you to diagnose yourself. That's something that, because you go there in confidence and say, okay, you're going to see a doctor and you're not feeling well. So it can be a struggle. It can be a struggle. I don't know why the system is like that, but but other than that, it is free. You can access it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you won't be able to, but most times you will be able to access it.
Yeah,
basically.
Yep. Yeah, that's how it is. The GP surgery is a struggle for everyone. Everyone knows it. Sometimes you call at 8 in the morning, the surgery open, the phone lines open at 8, and you call at 8, and then you hear that you're 100 in the queue.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. That's the reality of it. Yeah, but you get used to it, and you try to find ways around it, and you try to do what you have to do. Yeah. You just fight with them. Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Not trying to fight with them, but you have to try.
Yes, you have to try.
You have to keep going at it. You can't give up. That's it.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Which other important points? There's a lot of points, but some things are very nursey, and we want to reserve them for our nursing vlog. We want to reserve it for a nursing vlog. What else is important? Oh, culture shock. Culture shock. Big. A lot of nurses I've known of nurses personally who have come to England, and after 2-3 months they went back to Jamaica. They just couldn't take it. We have a lot of diverse cultures here. People migrate from everywhere in the world coming to UK. So you have that diverse culture here, but you also have England has their own culture as well, and their culture can be a bit shocking, and their language as well, how they speak. So in England, for example, language is one of the big culture shocks. Like there's no standard British accent. The accent varies from area to area. Yeah. So when you go up in the deep north, Birmingham sounds a different way.
Let me them sound.
I ain't going there.
she like to mimic,
Not today. But Birmingham sounds different.
Yeah, each area in the UK, they have their, you see how, we're from Jamaica, and I know that the Jamaicans, they can understand this. And I know other places, like maybe in Africa, I know that they have different languages, but then you have accents. In Jamaica, different parishes have different ways of speaking, or they have a different way. Like maybe in Kingston, they would say them draw them word when they're talking, and then, other places, them say them sound buto. You know what I mean? Or them sound yamed. But, in England, it's kind of similar, but the thing is, some people, that when they speak and they're speaking English, it don't sound like English.
You don't know if they're speaking English.
You don't know.
Yeah, you go up in Yorkshire, Scotland, you don't know, you're like, what?
Yeah, Ireland, what? You don't know what they're saying. But it's English.
It's English.
Yeah, trust and believe it.
Trust. You don't even know what they're saying. Yeah. So it's accents. Another thing about British culture is their food.
Oh yeah, very bland.
Not for my liking. I won't bash. I won't go too much, because you have to respect cultures and food. And food is a sensitive topic. I wouldn't want someone I don't like when Jamaican food. I want to bash it, so I won't bash. But I'll say it's not for me.
I'm saying it is bland.
It is bland.
Food is bland. It's even the English will tell you. I've had conversations with English people born and raised here, and they admit, they say, to be honest, our food is quite bland, and it goes back from the World War, and the lack thereof that they had, and what they had is what integrated into their diet now, and that's a part of their culture now. So what happened is that the English now, they're now going out there now, and they're mostly eating Indian food actually, because of all the spices and so on. So they've admitted,
their food is
and
bland.
They always say it's bland.
Yeah,
but you get used to it. You can get used to it, but it's up to your taste.
Some things that they eat are not for me. That's why I won't, some things they eat is just not for me, and that's personal.
She picky. So.
I am. This beans, this full English breakfast thing, and mushrooms there, and sausage there, and baked beans. I don't eat those things.
But in Jamaica we eat baked bean and sausage.
I don't eat baked
She
beans.
is just picky.
So food here is not for me, but it's for who it's for. And it's for who it's for.
It's what you like. That's it.
Yeah.
And with culture also, as Livy was saying about culture, there are so many people from, you can find every culture in this country. Every country you can think of, there are people from the Asian side of the world,
every corner of
India, China, Japan, Middle East, everywhere, Caribbean, Africa, everywhere, South America, Canada. Everybody is in this country, and the thing that I found out when I come here is people they're not willing and open to adjust to the atmosphere of England. They bring their own culture, whatever culture it is in their country, then bring it come here. So it's like another country in this country, if you know what I mean. So you have to what you have to do is when you come, you just learn the cultures, be open-minded, learn and understand what people are sensitive to, what their belief systems are, so that you know what corners you fit tread upon, basically. So you can actually survive in the country, because you have to be understanding of each person's culture and their cultural beliefs, and not to infringe on their rights
and religious rights,
exactly, and stuff like that. So,
but England does say that it's a principle of theirs, one of their foundation principles is accepting other faiths and cultural beliefs. That's what they say that they do. So we all have a right to be, and I'm happy it's that way, because I wouldn't want someone to tell me that I can't go to church. So that's the reason why, even though we're in holiness and I don't believe this and I don't believe that and I don't support this and that, when I go to work, for example, I'm not a troublemaker. I wouldn't see another person of another faith and make trouble, because I wouldn't want you to make trouble with me. So I learned to stay in my lane. I stand up for what I believe in. I stand up for holiness, but I'm not going to make mischief. I mind my business. So that's how it is. Another thing about English culture is that how they speak. They use a lot of phrases, terms to describe things that, words that you've never heard before. So the longer you live here, you learn what they mean by this. Like, for example, I remember a good example I always tell people is that when I just came to England and I was working in the A&E in COVID, there was this elderly lady. She was in the A&E on the stretcher, and I was caring for her. And I went over to the bedside and I was speaking with her, and then she said to me, "Nurse," I was like maybe 1 month in the UK, just come fresh. She said to me, "Nurse, I want to spend a penny."
Yeah, I knew that she was gonna say that one.
I was looking at her like, "You want to spend a penny?" Yeah. But she could see in my face that I was clueless. She could see that I had no idea what it was she was saying to me. She said, "Oh, darling, I like to go to the loo."
Yeah.
When she said loo, I was still a bit, but common sense told me it was a toilet.
Yeah.
So even though she was trying to explain spend a penny to me, she still said loo. And we don't use the word loo in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So it's about getting to know what they mean by this. They use a lot of lingo. That's England. They use a lot of lingo. And it's fun. You learn along the way, and then you adapt as well, because after a time you find yourself using these things as well. Yeah. Are you in the queue?
Yeah, I still haven't adjusted.
Well, I've been here 5 years. Yes.
But I'm still saying line. Yes. And when I'm there and I'm like, "Are you in the line?" They're looking at me like weird. What you talking
about? What is the line? Yeah.
What is a line?
Are you in the queue?
And then we catch myself.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I meant to say, "Are you in the queue?"
Yes. Yeah.
It's like that. So it takes time. So don't think you're gonna come here and just
It's not an overnight
hit the
thing.
ground running. It takes time.
It takes
time. So just come with an open mind, and just come with the intention to learn, and also to look into their laws and their regulation, so you can stay on the right side of the law while you're living here. Yes. Any country you migrate to, it's not just England. Any country you plan to migrate to, just make sure you plan in your mind and you have it synced in your head that, I'm gonna get some, excerpts or something of the law, and I'm gonna read them and, keep informed and abreast of certain information, so I can, integrate into society well, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So you can live.
Yes. Yeah. Another point I want to go back to is the skilled worker visa. And this is a very important point that you need to be aware of. So when you come to work on a skilled worker visa, it's important to know that it is often, many people may want to change their jobs for whatever reason. You want a better opportunity, you're not happy in your job anymore, and you want to move on from that company. So unlike America, when a nurse migrates to America as a nurse, you make a transition on a green card. So you get to America as a permanent resident. In England, you're on a work permit, it's a visa, right? So you're very restricted. And if you want to change your employer, you can. But it does comes with a process. So if you say, for example, you want to change your job, you have to be sponsored for each job. So you have to, first of all, find a company that does sponsor. Not every company sponsors, because it's quite expensive and it's a tedious process for them to keep their sponsor license. So you have to find a job that sponsors. As soon as you resign from the job, that employer, current employer, has a few days, I think it's 10 days or something, to inform the Home Office that they're no longer your sponsor. So now you're not on a visa. Once you resign and they inform the Home Office, you're no longer on a valid visa. What you need to do now is that they give a grace period though. There's a grace period that you can stay in the country and find a job, which is 60 days after they issue the curtailment letter. So they will send something to you, the Home Office, to say that you have 60 days and they have curtailed your visa, and you have 60 days to find a job, apply for another visa, or you have to leave the country. The good thing is that in COVID, after COVID, the curtailment letters were coming very promptly. So you might be in the country 1 month, 2 months, the letter still hasn't come. And the 60 days only starts from when the letter comes. So it gives you quite a bit of time, but you have to keep on applying for a new sponsor, applying for a new visa every time you want to change your job. And if you get fired, if they sack you, now it's a race against the clock while you're in the country to find a job before they curtail your visa. You have to find a job before they curtail the visa. So that's something that you have to bear in mind, that the process is not very smooth and it can be tedious to find another sponsor every single time. Yeah,
and with that, you don't have to leave when you're looking for a sponsor, if you're changing jobs or you got fired or something, you don't have to leave the country to find a job to come back. And that's what you get the 60 days for. You get the 60 days. In that period, you must find a job before them boot you out of the country, basically.
Yeah.
So you have time, but nowadays, back then when Livy came, and when I came in the first year, you could actually find a lot, as nurses, you could find a lot of companies that actually sponsor. But nowadays, I think a lot of people now have qualified for ILR, which is permanent resident status. So they're no longer sponsoring, and it's very expensive to sponsor. So they're not really sponsoring so much now. But you have to try your best and find, because there are still companies just about finding them. Yeah. And so you find the sponsor while you're here, and then you apply to Immigration Home Office and put in and start the process. And because immigration has made some changes over since in the last 2 years, immigration has been making a lot of changes. So back then when you would apply, it would take them maybe 2-3 weeks before they respond to say, congrats, you're registered, you can now go forward to work. But now they've made changes that now when you apply, they might respond in 2 days, You apply tonight, and then tomorrow morning you get a message saying congrats. They're now responding more promptly, and it's very good. That's a very good change, and I like that.
Yeah. It's a positive. Just a positive. Yes.
And another thing also within the UK, when it comes on to, it's not just jobs where it can be quite tedious to find a job. It can be quite tedious depending on where you live, especially in London, to find house to rent. It can be quite difficult. It can be difficult because of there are a lot of requirements and a lot of investigations that go about finding and confirming somewhere to live. You can go online and you look, you find a place, you go and you do the viewings. It's quite time consuming. It can cost you a lot of money also. It can cost you a lot of money.
The rental market is very competitive in England now.
Very.
Even to get a viewing can be a struggle.
Sometimes you turn up and they have open viewing, and when you look, 10 people there viewing. And what happens is once the viewing, if everybody is interested in that one place, then they put in an offer. So what you would normally see the price, the place going up for, let's say it's £1,000 per month, someone else might put in an offer higher, and then that person might be more considered because of the price, because of what they're offering basically. So it has become more competitive. Along with it being competitive, once you said that you want a place and the landlord said, okay, I'm gonna choose that person, or gonna choose you, then you have to go through sometimes a very rigorous process of where they're checking your jobs, if you have money, how much money you're making a year.
They call it referencing.
Is it referencing? How much money you're making a year, if your job gonna change anytime soon again.
They want so much.
They want a lot of
landlord
things.
references, employer references. They want bank statements, pay slips. They want IDs, your passport. Your dignity is just intruded on so many levels. So it's quite. It's something. It's something. Yeah. So it's something to know.
Yeah. But it's we've experienced it in London. We haven't moved out of London yet. God, we don't want to move out. It's quite expensive here. But we haven't. But we're just telling you what we know about London. Outside of London, it's much cheaper. I've seen houses being rented and even for sale outside of London. That's not very. That's not bad. Not bad. So something else to think about before for rooting up your entire life in your country and coming here.
Coming to England to start anew.
I know.
Turn a new leaf. Yes. But yeah, so life is about perspective. Someone might come to England and they do not feel good, they don't prosper, they don't like it, but someone else can come and achieve, because it depends on what your goals are. It depends on what your work ethic is. It depends on what you want to achieve. What I want to achieve may not what Sherry wants to achieve. So it depends on you, your goals and perspective, how you look at life. So it's just for points for you to consider to make an informed decision. It's not to deter anyone, just that knowledge is power. And when you have the knowledge, you can make a good decision, the best decision for you.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have now come to the end of our vlog.
Yes. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope the points helped you.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed. Yes.
We hope that you're now equipped in some way, in some form, and we'll be back on another episode to tell you about our work as nurses in the UK.
Yes.
But for now, until then,
it's gonna be peace be. Bye.
Peace be. Toodles. Bye bye.